You know by now that you don't need more recipes or more macro guides. In fact, when it comes to weight loss, most people don't have a food issue. They have a time and energy management issue, or they have a stress and emotional eating issue. Those are the two big problems that we solve in our nutrition coaching program. My name's Alex Murphy, and if we haven't met before, I help everyday CrossFit members to lose weight, keep it off, and improve their relationship with food and their self-image. I've been doing that for over 8 years now, and this channel is designed to bring you the exact tools and strategies that I use with my clients to help them radically transform their body confidence. If you like what you see, consider subscribing so that you get more of this information delivered to your feed. Now, last week I shared some of my best time and energy management strategies with my clients to help them improve their energy, reduce hunger cravings, and boost their motivation so they can stay consistent for longer. It was so well received, I wanted to share this information with you. I've practiced and distilled these techniques over the past 8+ years, both in my own practice to be more productive in business, but also for my clients to improve their motivation, reduce hunger cravings, and live life with better energy every day. Because ultimately, that's what you want from weight loss. People don't just lose weight inside our program. They get a radically life-altering experience in their professional life, in their family life, and in their self-confidence. Let's get into it. There's 3 main principles or pillars when it comes to time management that I want to talk about today. The first one is time blocking. When it comes to time and energy management, most of the problems that people will experience will be around overwhelm, procrastination, and time just kind of running away from them with tasks they did not expect to take so long. Let's start with task number 1. If you're overwhelmed at what you have to do and you always feel like you're chasing your tail and you have so much going on in the world, the first thing I'd like you to look at is a calendar audit. It means sitting down with your calendar. By the way, if you don't have one of those for your personal life yet, highly recommend you look at Google Calendar. It doesn't have to be a fancy piece of software. Google Calendar works incredibly well. It's color coordinated. You can put tasks, reminders, and recurring events in. Super simple. When it comes to productivity systems, the simpler the better. I have personally wasted so much time on productivity tools that require more time and effort to learn and to input things into on a daily and weekly basis. Simplicity scales. So if your life gets busier and you've got a complex system of managing your time, that will break eventually. Simple works best. Get a Google Calendar. So the first thing you're going to do with your calendar audit is build a priority task list. So you're going to start with the biggest priorities in the week. Now, if this is someone who's trying to lose weight, your biggest priorities are going to be spending some time meal prepping, going to the gym, and you probably want to budget some time in there as well for steps, going on a walk, getting some exercise outside of the gym. First thing I would do is build my highest priority tasks, 1 to 3 at most. You don't need to overcomplicate this. Then I would block those tasks into my calendar at the place that they're most likely to be achieved. So for example, if you're putting meal prep in at 6 a.m., the likelihood of you wanting to get up at 6 a.m. every day and prep food is just really unrealistic. So pick a time, maybe it's at the weekend, maybe it's on a Wednesday night when you don't have much on during the week. Just block out a little period for food prep. And when it comes to food prep, little and often works far better than one big cooking session every week. So build your highest priority tasks into your calendar first. Second thing, I would go further down in your priority list and look at the medium level tasks. And I would sort those by urgency. Is there something that needs to be completed this week? If so, I would put that into my calendar with a specific date and deadline. For example, if you have a project at work and you know it has to be in by Friday, I would be putting it in on the Monday or Wednesday. So I know, okay, I have an hour here or an hour and a half to work on this project. And in this period of time, I will aim to finish the project. So I'm not scrambling on Thursday night. So we're building in tasks in order of priority. The last thing I would look at is unessential tasks. There's 3 questions you need to ask yourself when it comes to unessential tasks. The things that you look at in your calendar and go, that's not really necessary, I don't know why it's there. The first thing you can do is just delete it. If it's not a necessary task for you, consider just saying no to whatever it is or removing it from your calendar so you have more white space and you feel more relaxed. You can delete it. You can delegate it. So for example, if chores, car cleaning, accounting, one of these little unessential tasks that can be done by someone else can be delegated, you might find that that's a really helpful thing for you to manage your time. Yes, maybe you spend a bit more money on an accountant or a finance manager, or maybe you have to hire someone to come in and clean your house a couple times a week, but that money might be better spent on that task to free up more time and just help you feel more relaxed. And the last one is outsource. So again, looking at the same thing, can we push this to someone else? Can I make this an automated feature? Something like that. Again, it takes small tasks off your plate so you can focus on the big things and have more free time to relax, go to the gym, spend time with your family. So in terms of solving overwhelm, calendar audit, priority list, build the big priorities into your calendar. If your big priorities in the week are going to the gym, playing some golf, maybe having some family time, put those into your calendar. Don't just leave them in as like something that might be completed when you have free time. If it's in your calendar, you're not going to skip it. The worst you're going to do is reschedule it. Okay. Second big problem with time blocking comes from procrastination. You've got so much to do, you don't know where to start, and you have some really big challenges. So you tend to just avoid, you scroll on your phone, you make your third cup of coffee of the day. I'm only talking about this because I've been there and experienced it myself, and I've seen thousands of clients do the same thing. Procrastination is down to two main features. Number one, you lack direction. You actually don't know what you should be doing every single day, so you kind of just float and coast and don't really know what you're doing, so you go around in circles. When you have direction, you have a plan, and you're just ticking things off your list one by one. Second thing, you've got challenge. You don't want to have this difficult conversation with your partner or a colleague, so you procrastinate and put off the difficult conversation or the difficult task, when it's actually much less stressful to just do the task and get into the difficulties rather than procrastinate, stress about the fact you're procrastinating, and then still have to do the difficult task anyway. So unfortunately with procrastinating, half the battle is just knowing why you're doing it and then facing the fear anyway. So my advice for when you're procrastinating is twofold. Number one, can you break the task down into smaller, more achievable steps? That makes it a bit less daunting and a little bit more likely that you'll just get started. Second thing you can do is a fear setting exercise. If you haven't had listened to the fear setting talk by Tim Ferriss, it's on TED. I highly recommend you check it out. But it's essentially taking your biggest fears and breaking them down into a couple of questions. What's the worst possible outcome that could happen from this? Would I be okay with that worst possible outcome? What are some steps that I can take to reduce the likelihood of the worst possible outcome? This essentially breaks your fears down into very rational thoughts and allows you to proceed with, am I okay with the risk of this happening? And what would I do if it did happen? Okay, third problem when it comes to time management specifically, and that is time running loose. There's a principle called Pareto's principle, and that is essentially that a task will expand to fill the time allotted for it. So for example, if I set myself 6 hours on a Friday to do program design, guess how long that's going to take? Because I'm going to find ways to procrastinate, ways to take slightly longer with the task. When you actually break it down and give yourself a deadline on something, it sharpens your focus, sharpens your decision making, and allows you to get tasks done quicker. So when it comes to meal prep, you might spend 3 hours on a Sunday prepping all your food. But if you set a deadline, like for example, once I'm finished this meal prep, I'm gonna go to the cinema. I have to leave the house at 6 o'clock to make it for the 6:30 show. That means I have to be finished my meal prep by 6:30 tonight, or 6, so I can leave the house on time. Guess how quickly you'll get that done. You'll have a much better chance of getting things done when you put a deadline on it. That's time management. Now I want to talk a little bit about energy optimization, which not a lot of nutrition coaches will talk to you about. They'll typically just say, eat this, walk more, do more exercise, eat less, that's how you lose weight. And you can lose weight that way. But what happens for a lot of people when they crash diet, restrict themselves very aggressively, and set deadlines like holidays for their weight loss, is they crash their energy, deplete their calories, and feel absolutely crap in a really lean body, which actually makes it harder to go back and lose weight in the future because you know what a horrible process it is. Now, part of our process is doing things sustainably so that people never gain weight back and they actually keep it off long term, and they feel great whilst they're doing it. If you can feel great and have positive energy whilst you're losing weight, you're far more likely to want to do that again in the future. So it's this perfect downward spiral that reinforces these behaviors. Now, the first thing when it comes to energy optimization is purpose. That's going to sound really crazy, but if you have no purpose and no conviction, you won't be moving forward and you won't wake up with energy and a vibrant feeling for life every day. When it comes to purpose in your weight loss journey, you can think about it like this. You probably start initially with a slightly selfish goal of just wanting to look better, feel better in your own skin, fit back into some old clothes. That takes you so far in your life, in your motivation journey, but when you need to go that extra mile, when you need to push further through a difficult challenge, you need to think about something bigger than yourself. Family, friends, colleagues, employees, how are they going to feel when you step into a bigger, better version of yourself? When you think about how your health pursuits can positively impact the people around you, it builds this extra layer of accountability around you because you're no longer just doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your kids, for your partner, for your employees in your company who are led by you. So when it comes to purpose and mission in life, you need to think outside of the scope of just your life. Second part of energy optimization, currency. You need to think about energy as currency. There's a finite amount of it. You have to spend it wisely on the right things. There's limited amounts of energy in the day. You can only give so much of yourself before you need to replenish some of that. and you replenish it by doing some of the tasks that you find fun, something restful, and something that's really blocked out for self-care. Now, a lot of people think, oh, I go to the gym, that's my self-care. Unfortunately, that's a hobby, and it's still a task-orientated approach. The gym does not count in this scenario. I want you to find some self-care practices like a new hobby, a new TV show, a new self-care practice. For some people, it's doing a face mask, reading a book, just having white space in the calendar, going out for a coffee with no phone, catching up with family and friends, running a bath, going for a sauna. The list is endless. I really want you to build out a list of at least 9 to 10 things that you can do that aren't the gym, aren't work, aren't family time, and just do them like a self-care practice. Like a selection of exercises in the gym. When you need to work a certain body part, you'll pick a certain exercise. It should be the same thing with self-care. Again, one of the biggest problems with human nature is we're always doing and we're never just being. It's very, very uncomfortable for most people in this day and age to just sit. No distractions, no phones, no other people around, no music, and just exist. Just slow down. But guarantee you're always looking for a way of life slowing down, catching up with the pace a little bit more, not being so go, go, go all the time. Ironically, when you do slow down, you feel insecure that you're not doing something, you're not being productive, and you actually can't rest. So one of the biggest things you can do to protect your energy and replenish it is just slow down, sit still, meditate if you get that far. I promise you, that's a practice that will do tons for your energy management. And then the last thing when it comes to energy management is mental nutrients. You can think about micronutrients, fruit, veg, vitamins, things that we take that don't necessarily have calorie intake or weight loss protocols, but they are really good for our cognitive function, our mood, and our energy management. It's the same thing with the stuff that you're absorbing through social media or the news every day. The news is designed to negatively impact you. It's designed to be shocking, hard-hitting. Think about the last time you actually saw some positive news. It doesn't really exist. You need to think about things that are going to nourish your mindset and your brain as well as what's going to nourish your body. News, TikTok, social media, maybe even some of your friends or family members are depleting your energy because they're just constantly putting you into a negative state. You can probably think about that friend or family member who's always complaining, never in a positive mood, and you just feel like you have to be around them. But consider what that's actually doing for your daily energy. There'll be people who spike your energy and make you feel really full of life, and there'll be people that take away your energy. Just consider how much time you're actually spending with those people. Same way that we want you to add color to your plate, we want you to add color to your brain and your brain food. Think about things that are new, exciting, different thought principles and practices. That can be a really great way to stimulate your mind and actually help you boost your energy without even realizing it. So consider what you're absorbing every day. And then the last part I wanted to touch on is just a little bit more about self-care. Here's 3 things that you can do to prioritize your self-care during the week. Number 1, have a weekly meeting with yourself. I know this sounds ridiculous, but I do it personally in my business. It helps me wrap up the week and really identify, okay, what challenged me this week? What were my positive wins? What do I need to focus on next week going forward? And it helps me just bookend the week by saying, right, this is completed. I've checked in with myself. I've given myself some of my energy and focus again. Now I can relax, enjoy my weekend, and get back to work on Monday feeling refreshed and enthused to work again. Second part would be planning in fun. This sounds ridiculous. The gym does not count in this scenario. You need to find something fun. For me, it's golf. If I pencil in golf twice a week, I know that no matter how hellish my week has been, I'm going to have something fun to look forward to. And in terms of neurochemistry, the actual looking forward to a task is part of the enjoyment. If you pencil in 2 random things, like maybe it's a night out with your partner, going to a comedy show, just something that's going to be fun for you, pencil it into your week, block it into your calendar, and I promise you, your mood will improve dramatically. And the last thing is block in your self-care time. This sounds ridiculous, but it needs to be in there. There's so many people I see going down this road of just working, dieting, training all the time, and is a quick path to burnout. If you're never putting yourself first, you're always going to feel defeated. You're never going to show up for yourself in the best possible way. You're always going to have low self-worth because your attention is just being grabbed and pulled by other people. There's a saying that you have to put on your own oxygen mask first before you can do it for other people. And that is so, so true. So if you don't block out some self-care time, you'll radically find yourself with less energy to give and you won't show up as the best version of yourself. So if you do nothing else this week, block these 3 things into your calendar. A weekly meeting with yourself just to check in, plan some fun twice a week, and then plan some self-care twice a week as well. Watch what that does for your overall mood, digestion, and happiness. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, I've got plenty more information to share with you. Make sure you subscribe below. I'll be dropping one of these every week. And if you really took something away from this, I would love to know in the comments what stood out to you, what you learned, and what you're going to implement straight away.